So it's a pretty awesome time to be a PC gamer right now. With the release of the brand new GTX 1080 Ti, gamers are really being offered an unprecedented level of performance, whether you're talking about things like UHD gaming with maximum image quality settings, multi-monitor gaming, VR, dynamic super resolution based gaming experiences. The GTX 1080 Ti is really enabling all of those. So here at ASUS, of course, we're interested in offering a wide range of offerings for users that are looking to be able to adopt into the GTX 1080 Ti. And we're going to be actually talking about 3 different cards, but first and foremost, we want to focus on a great kind of sweet spot for somebody that's looking at a GTX 1080 Ti with the ASUS Turbo card. So the ASUS GTX 1080 Ti Turbo card is really kind of our entry into this highest end NVIDIA GPU. It really kind of hits that sweet spot of offering everything you would expect from quote unquote the reference edition or the founders edition card. Pretty much the same thermal performance. So the card under full gaming load is going to be about 80 to about 84 degrees depending on the actual gaming load. And from acoustics, it's pretty much going to be bang on the same. It also maintains a clean and simple minimal profile in terms of a 2-slot design. It features a blower based design to be able to exhaust all the hot air outside of the chassis, which is really optimal, especially when you consider these smaller form factor gaming builds that are quite popular, whether you're talking about mini ITX or micro ATX or even really compact ATX gaming builds. Beyond that though, with ASUS cards, we always want to focus on, I think, the aesthetic design of the card, and we've definitely done that with the Turbo series. You've still got a really clean monochromatic color scheme, but we've added in a little bit of flecking material into the shroud, which gives it kind of a nice subtle pop. It takes it to that next level while still not conflicting with the overall color scheme and the look and feel that you're going to want for these kind of high-end gaming systems. Beyond that, you also still have a focus on quality improvements, and this is going to be some of the key areas where you really see a big difference between the Turbo and the Founders Edition or the reference design card. So there's a few ways that the actual Turbo card differentiates itself from the Founders Edition. Now this is a full non-reference graphics card, so that of course means that we've gone ahead and designed and developed all different aspects of the card, from its PCB to its thermal solution to the aesthetic design. And when we take a look first at the overall PCB and the VRM, there's going to be a subtle but an important differentiation. The card features an 8+2 power phase delivery design versus the 7+2 phase power delivery design. Overall, that's a subtle difference, but it helps to mean that the Turbo card is definitely not going to be offering any lower performance in terms of its power delivery capabilities compared to the Founders Edition. In addition to that, the VRM also still features extremely high quality power componentry. They haven't been cost down. We're using IR power stages for the overall power delivery, fully molded inductors, and high quality SMT based capacitors. All the way around, this means you get great power delivery for this Turbo card. In terms of the overall thermal design, the actual heatsink assembly is even a little bit larger than what you're going to find on the Founders Edition. And what this means is that you're going to generally have the same temperature performance for the Turbo as compared to the Founders Edition card. We actually found that because it's a slightly larger heatsink assembly, we even get a little bit better temperature performance, about 1 to 2 C. Not a huge amount, but once again, it means that you're essentially going to get parity experience with the Founders Edition. Now, in addition to that, we also looked at how we can improve the overall fan design implementation and help to ensure that it maintains a long level of operating performance. And that was done by implementing IP5X rating certification. This essentially helps to minimize how dust affects the overall fan's performance and helps to make sure that we get consistent capabilities from the fan in terms of passing air through the heatsink assembly and ultimately keeping the card cool and ensuring long-term reliability. Now, on the highest level, one of the things that you're going to find across all ASUS graphics cards, and is also of course present in this Turbo card, is going to be our ASUS Auto Extreme production process. This is SMT production, or surface mount technology, and what it essentially means is that we've taken an advanced look at how the entire production process occurs for graphics cards. We use a fully robotic process to be able to assemble these graphics cards and ensure the highest level of precision, accuracy, and ultimately production reliability, so that if you're making an investment in a card like the GTX 1080 Ti Turbo, you're going to get an absolutely great experience. So keeping all these things in mind, you might be wondering, what are the kind of the best systems that are suited ultimately for this GTX 1080 Ti Turbo based card? And I think it really works well for just about actually any type of enthusiast gaming system. But if you're going to be looking especially, I think, at more compact gaming builds where you have more restrictions in terms of airflow consideration, and you want to make sure that you're exhausting the predominant heat from the GPU outside of the system, which works really well for more compact gaming builds like mini ITX or micro ATX, or systems where you might have SLI, so 2 of these GPUs set up, this is a really great card to be able to consider for those type of gaming builds. All the way around, when you take a look at its flexibility at being able to be put in these systems, while offering still a very aggressive price point for pretty much the fastest GPU you can get, and also incorporating, of course, all the design traits that ASUS brings to the table to be able to improve the overall performance and the reliability of this card, it's going to be a great choice for gamers that are looking for a GTX 1080 Ti.